श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता ध्यानम्। ॐ सहना भवतु, सहनौ भुनक्तु, सह वीर्यं करवावहै, तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ ध्यानम्। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे फुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रदीपः। प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः। पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनबोधितम्। लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारतपङ्कजं कलिमला प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वन्देन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिभिर्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम् वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम् वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्
Sureshji.
Namaste.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can also see you, Dr. G. Okay. Yeah, you can share the slides, but I can start. So today, Dr. G will cover the first part of chapter 2. Chapter 2 is Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of knowledge. And this is where Arjuna surrenders himself to Sri Krishna. And then today we will cover from verse 1 through 38 that Dr. G will cover. Then next Tuesday, we will do verse 39 through 72. And I'll start with a contemplation poem. Body, mind, and intellect makes us human. However, they all perish. For one who is born, surely there is death. What is left except the self? Over many births and deaths, it passes from one body to another, gaining wisdom, and dwells in the same body from youth to old age. Some perceive its true nature, others describe it in glorious splendor. Some others might hear about it, and most haven't a clue. There are only two kinds of humans, those that have passed and those that are passing. In that short time, a miracle awaits. With divine grace and practice, a path opens up, moving the human inward and upward towards that inconceivable, the essence of being human. On that path, nothing is wasted, even a little effort, guided by a teacher to connect to that self will reduce your regret when the self leaves. So over to you, Dr. G.
Namaste. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dr. G.
Can you see the screen as well or no?
We cannot see the screen. Okay.
You cannot see the screen. Okay. Then I'm sharing the screen, so I don't know what is happening.
We are seeing the screen, Dr. G, but I think you need to share the slide. We were able to see the slides earlier on.
You were, yeah. You were, okay. So stop, then share. Share screen. Okay, screen broadcast. Okay. Can you?
No, we don't see it.
Okay. Then, Suresh, I may have to ask you to share the screen and then just move the slides as I speak. So it will be a little challenge, but please bear with us. As you could see that I am technologically challenged. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Gomatre Namaha. Gita Matre Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Sabhaye Namaha. Can you hear me okay? Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Ji. Perfect.
Thank you. Having saluted Gita Mata, Gurus, Krishna Paramatma, and thanking you all for joining for this great study of the greatest of the scriptures available to us. Now we enter the second chapter. I would like to dedicate this chapter today to Shyamalaji, one of our Gita teachers, resident of Temple, Texas, who left her mortal body day before yesterday. She was an embodiment of Saraswati and Sattvic nature. And she taught Gita to a number of people. So she is a great guru, great person, and like a family to many of us. To her, this chapter. Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means something to do with the numbers. Sankhya Yoga. In the 6 visions we have, Sankhya and Yoga are 2 of them. Sankhya Shastra was taught by Kapila Maharshi and Yoga Shastra by Patanjali. And we have Uttara Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, the Nyaya and Vaiseshika. So, but that's not what we are going to talk here. This chapter is named Sankhya because there is another etymological meaning. Samyak Khyatam or Samyak Khyayate, the one which is well said, the one which is very well said is Sankhya. Yoga is the process where the Jivatma, the individual soul, joins the cosmic supreme consciousness. So it is again, it's not a process of joining. It is realizing that the individual soul is nothing but the cosmic consciousness. We go to the next slide. We talked about this. So we will divide this talk into 3 portions. The first 10 about Arjuna's lamenting and Krishna's whiplash answers. Then the second part of the talk will constitute the Atma Tattva, the nature and the philosophy, the entire concept of Atman, Brahman, the consciousness is taught in these 20 verses. I guess 2020 was popular even with Krishna and Vyasa. So we see 20 verses describing the nature of Atman in this chapter. And 20 verses in 12th chapter, 20 verses in 15th chapter. So just beat what all you can when the iron is hot. So this is when Krishna takes the opportunity to teach Arjuna, as Shishiji was mentioning last time. Then the last part, the 10 verses, 8 verses talk about the Swadharma, our Kartavya. Then I want to salute all the teachers who taught me as part of their teachings, me as part of many students, and many of them has taught me individually also. So salutations to all gurus. There are many gurus who I could not include here because of lack of availability of their photographs when I did this. Then as we move on, here we talked about the state of mind of Arjuna. Arjuna is in such a state, which now Sanjaya describes. Sanjaya describes, as we see, Vyasa Maharshi has written a beautiful script that if anyone picturizes Mahabharata, the script is not a problem. See, now the scene is between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra. Then it shifts to war field between Arjuna and Krishna. And the camera focuses on Arjuna. Now Sanjaya says, Tam tadha krupaya vistam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. So that, Arjuna, this is the opening verse of second chapter. Sureshji, you have to use your, okay, we'll go to the verse itself. Yes. The first verse, Tam tadha krupaya vistam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudanaha. Then, when Arjuna sat down, Visrujya sasharam chapam shokasam vigna manasaha tathopastha upavishatta. So that Arjuna who sat, as you can see in the picture, sat down in the chariot, throwing away the bow and Deva and the arrows. And to that Arjuna, krupaya vistam, the one who is overwhelmed with the undue pity, vicarious pity. Ashrupurna akula ikshanam. So his body is Ashrupurna, the eyes are filled with tears and they're quivering, the nystagmoid movement of the eyes. So that, the very first verse, it's not there. So, Ashrupurna akulekshana, krupaya avistam, vishidantam. So now you see the three states of Arjuna are described by Vyasa Maharshi. One of my teachers, Sister Garu, says there is no better psychologist or psychiatrist than Vyasa Maharshi. He describes the physical state, which is Ashrupurna Akula Ikshanam. Tears-filled eyes and nystagmoid, the quivering eyes. Then, emotionally, Krupaya Avistam, emotionally imbalanced. Then Vishedantam, intellectually incapacitated. To such Arjuna, now Krishna. As you see in some of the movies, the very first answer is with a slap on the cheek sometimes. So that's what this verse and the next verse is like a slap on the cheek. To such an Arjuna, Krishna, with a mean look and with these sword-like words, he says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. And here, it doesn't say Shri Krishna Uvacha. So clearly says Bhagavan Uvacha. And we talked about Bhagavan when we talked about Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam. So Bhagavan is the one who has those great qualities, Bhaga, which include Aishwaryasya Samagrasya, Dharmasya Yashashasriyaha, Jnana Vairagya Yoschaiva, Shanna Bhagayiterina, Samagra Aishwarya, Dharma, Yashas, Jnana, Vairagya, and Shriya. So all these 6 qualities are there all the time and in its entirety, in their entirety. So such a Bhagavan is now saying, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupasthitam anarya justam asvargyam akirtikaram Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, whence is this perilous condition come upon thee? This dejection, which is ignoble, anaryana, like heaven excluding, asvargyam, and the one which brings you infamy, akirtikaram. So here, anarya justam, aswargyam, akirtikaram. So he is Ashrupurna Akulekshana. He says, this is not what an Aryan or what a noble person should live up to. Then, Krupaya Avistam. So with these emotions, you cannot do any good here or hereafter. Akirtikaram here, Aswargyam hereafter. You see how the piercing words are taught by Krishna. Next verse, verse number 3. A very popular verse, which is a very favorite verse of Swami Vivekananda. Klaibyam asmagam appartha naitatvayupapadyate kshudram hrudaya daurbalyam tyaktvottishta parantapa. O Partha. And we talked about Partha. Is Pruthaputra is Partha. Prutha is Kunti Devi. But anyone who is born on this Prithvi, you, me, and everyone else is also Partha. O Partha, yield not to unmanliness, impotency, klaibyam, klaibatvam. So there is an inner meaning. Arjuna just came out of Bruhannala status. So Krishna is saying, I wonder you're still not living in that state. Or for a prince, a royal prince, who is valorous, number one in the world. And to him, this word will just hit him like the sword in his belly. So, O Partha, yield not to unmanliness, impotency. This does not befit you. This does not befit you. Etat tvayi na upapadyate. This doesn't befit you. Swami Ranganathananda, I was so fortunate to listen to him in person when he said, this is the way you should scold the juniors, the youngsters, the children. So this is not you. This doesn't befit you. You are much more than this. Etat tvayi na upapadyate, na etat tvayi upapadyate. This doesn't befit you. O Parantapa, the scorcher of foes, scorcher of enemies. Paran tapayati iti Parantapa. But there is another meaning from now on. Arjuna is seeking something param, parartham tapati iti. So he is actually, looking for something ultimate, something beyond this mundane, this war here. So Parantapa, see the word, how it has been used by Krishna and Vyasa. Then Hrudaya Daurbalyam, the meekness of the heart, the weakness of the heart, Kshudram, the very petty-mindedness, this cheap behavior here. Tyaktva, having given up, get up, come on, be ready to fight, be ready to work, get up. Tyaktva uttishta. So this one, if we go to the next slide, I think I have explained it. Yes. So Swami Vivekananda, he actually took this and he was also inspired by this verse to quote, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. So that's the message of Vivekananda to the youth. And this verse takes its origin from Kathopanishad. And many verses in second chapter take their origin from Kathopanishad. Again, the author of Kathopanishad is Vyasa Maharshi himself. So Swami Chinmayananda jokingly says, Vyasa copied or lifted the verses from Kathopanishad. So then, shamelessly, he says, shamelessly he lifted, because there is no copyright. He is the author of both. So Vyasa Maharshi, Uttisthata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran Nibodhata. So with this message, these are like whiplash shlokas, I call, like slap on the cheek. And then Arjuna, he reveals his true worry now. So far, what he talked in the first chapter, he actually was trying to cover up. He's trying to give some reasoning that, this is not right. This is not dharma. And we lose all all our achara, kulachara, and then brashtachara happens. But now he says, oh Krishna, how can I? How can I? Katham bhishmamaham sankhe dronam cha madhusudana. Ishubhi pratiyotyami pujarkha varisudana. Oh Madhusudana, how can I fight with Drona, my own guru, and Bhishma, my own Pitamaha, my own grandsire? Oh Arisudana, how can I release my arrows to hit their chest? And here Arjuna also addresses Krishna with two great names, Madhusudana and Arisudana. Madhu was Rakshasa, Ari means enemy. So the one who killed a Rakshasa, a demon called Madhu, and also the one who destroyed the enemies, Ari. So here, if you look at it a little bit more deeply, Madhu is Madhuvanam. Madhu means the one which is sweet, nectar. So that is raga, the attachment, mamakara. And Ari is the enemy, the dvesha. So raga and dvesha. So these are destroyed by Krishna. So he is the only one who can answer this question and who can show the solution in this crisis. Oh Madhusudana, oh Arisudana, how can I do this? And I think it is better to live on alms than enjoying the food which is tainted by the blood. Rudhira pradikthana. So this bloody food, so-called bloody food, which I'm going to enjoy after killing all these, is not what I'm looking for. And what should I do? Here, Arjuna surrenders to Krishna. And this verse number 10, it's such a great verse. Whenever you feel incapacitated, whenever you feel that you don't have any more energy, like Gajendra Mokshanam, whenever you feel like Draupadi, that there is no other help in your reach, that is when you just say this verse. Remember this verse. Karpanya doshopahata svabhavaha pruchami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yatreyasya nischitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Now I'm so confused about my duty and I've lost all my composure because of my weakness, mental imbalance. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now, I am your disciple and soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Karpanya doshaha apahata svabhavaha tvam dharma sammudha chetaha aham pruchami. I ask you because now I do not know what is right and what is not, what is dharma and what is adharma. And now you tell me what is Shreyas. So Shreyas and Preyas, these are the two words which are described in Kathopanishad. We'll talk about this in a minute. Now I want that Shreyas. And now you order me, Shadhi, you order me, because, and now I surrender unto you, Tvam Prapannam. So this is Prapatti. So Swami Bodhananda actually describes, so this is Namaskara. And we talked about this Jnana Mudra. And then this is like Sharanagati Mudra. And this is Prapatti Mudra, if you can see Prapatti Mudra. And this is Prasada Mudra. So now the Prapatti is taking place here. This Prapatti, Sharanagati, is a soul philosophy of Vaishnava Sampradaya. And there are 6 components of Sharanagati, Prapatti. Anukulasya sankalpaha, ranukulya sankalpaha, pratikulasya varjanam, rakshisyati iti vishwasaha, goptrutva varanam tadha, atmanikshepa karpanya, shadvidha sharanagatihi. What are these 6 components? The resolve to act in harmony with the divine nature. You're so focused. And the resolve to abstain from the contrary, nothing other than the divinity. Complete faith in saving grace of God, that Mahavishwasa. And sincere request by this prapatti for the grace and protection, Goptrutva. An acceptance of the absolute impossibility to achieve liberation, or acceptance of our limitations. There is only so much we could. The human effort can only go to a certain extent. And we'll talk a little bit more about this Krupanatvam and Karpanyam, offering oneself to the Lord with a conviction, Atmanikshepa. So this is Sharanagati. And we go to the next slide. So here, this is a great psalm in biblical world. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And incidentally, Christ is a shepherd. Krishna is a cowherd. Christ had a rod in his hand. Krishna has a gourd in his hand. So thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. When I feel helpless, when I feel listless, O Lord, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thy love is immense, thy grace is endless, thy guidance is amazing, thy kindness is unending. When I feel inadequate, when I feel I should quit, O Lord, thy word and thy smile, they comfort me. They correct me, they protect me, they direct me, and they support me. When I'm horrified and terrified, thou give me the fitness, and thou remain as my witness. Thou destroy the evil and my weakness. Thou destroy the devil and my meekness. When I cannot think, and when I'm about to sink, thou give me the wisdom. Thou rule my intellectual kingdom. Thou lift up my spirit, and thou uplift my merit. When the evil forces surround, and when the fear is all around, thou give me the willpower to cross over all the danger. Thou make me all fit. Thou tell me to get ready to fight. When I'm dreaded and very worried, when I'm scared and so very tired, thou walk me and thou work with me. Thou walk with me and thou work with me. Thou look at me and thou live in me. Thou guide and thou lead. Thou give and thou forgive. O omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, thy majesty is opulent. Thy magnificence is evident. I know in me thou art ever present. Let me be the servant at thy command, and let me be the instrument in thy hand. Thy word and thy smile, they comfort me. So we heard about the word, the two verses, Kutastva Kashmalamidam Uttishta Parantapa, and we'll see now the comforting words, and we'll see a beautiful smile of Krishna in forthcoming verse. So, Krupanatvam, Karpanya dosham, Kashmalam. So, Kashmalam means moha also. So Krupanatvam is moha also. So what is this moha? Moha is not knowing what is real. What is this Aksharam? What is this Brahman? What is this Atman? So Gargi was told by Yajnavalkya Maharshi. Yajnavalkya Maharshi says, Yova etadaksharam Gargi aviditva asmat lokat praiti saha krupanaha. The one who leaves this world without knowing this ultimate truth, Aksharam, the imperishable Brahman, Atman, one, if he does not know what this Atma Tattva is, so that one is Krupana. Yova etadaksharam gargi viditva asmat lokat praiti saha brahmanaha. And the one who leaves this world knowing and realizing the Brahman and Aksharam as Shamalaji, Saha Brahmanaha. So Krupana means miserly also, but Krupana is actually this. The one who is in moha, not knowing the truth, not knowing the Aksharam, not knowing the Brahman. Next. So this is from Kathopanishad, Shreya and Preya. Arjuna is seeking Shreyas, not Preyas. In simple words, for a diabetic patient, let us say, there is a gulab jamun and there is a salad. So gulab jamun is Preyas and salad is Shreyas. What is good and what we are fond of. So Shreyascha Preyascha Manushyameta Tau Samparitya Vivinakti Dhiraha Shreyo Hi Dhiraha Preyaso Abhivranute Preya Mandaha Yogakshemat Pranite. So a Dhira chooses this Shreyas. Now Arjuna is Veera, Shura and Dhira. The one who is valorous, the one who is very powerful in the war field, and also so intellectual and spiritually seeking what everyone needs. For our sake, Arjuna is asking, and for our sake, Krishna is teaching. So this is Arjuna's statue. I just visited Jaipur, right in front of the engineering college. I thought it was such a beautiful idea, and what a beautiful sculpture it is, Arjuna. Next one. So one should be like Arjuna, seeking the knowledge and making the pledge. Be like Arjuna, behold like Partha, oh dear friend in this world, a sincere seeker and a serious archer. The ideal student, prudent and ardent, valiant and vibrant, radiant and resonant, patient and tolerant, virtuous and vigilant, sincere and serious, studious and curious, pious and righteous, zealous and genius. He now fell silent, oh my friend, when the body is tired, when the mind is blinded, when the intellect is clouded, when overwhelmed with nervous breakdown in this stressful world. Learn to bow down to the Lord and go beyond the physical world, as did Arjuna in the war field. Cogitate and meditate, moderate and modulate, perform the penance, dispel the ignorance, follow the Lord, win over the world. Allow the Lord to act through you indeed, as did Arjuna indeed. Ask the question when caught in doubt. Seek the answer from the Master the Great, as did Arjuna act in fact. Oh, my friend, win the wealth, the true knowledge, like Dhananjaya Arjuna. Gain the treasure, the great wisdom. Rule the empire, thy own mind, as did Arjuna, holding Lord's hand. So that is Arjuna, the great student here. And now the Lord answers. How does he? Tamovacha Rishikeshaha Prahasanniva Bharata Senayorubhayor Madhye Vishidantamidam Vachaha. Here Bharata, Sanjaya is addressing Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra is also Bharata. Bharata means the one who belongs to Bharata clan. So Bharata is also used for Arjuna. You and I, every one of us are Bharata. So Bharata means Bhasi Rataha. The one who revels in Prakasha, Jnana is Bharata. So we all are Bharatas. Bhaskaraha. You see, Bhasam karoti iti Bhaskaraha. That is Ravi, sun god. So Bha means Prakasha. Bhanu. So the one who rebels. And in this crisis, Lord Krishna is smiling. So much of confidence. And that smile, which takes away all the worries. So here is the painting of smiling Krishna by one of the group members. And the next one is a poem on smile. The smile is such a great thing. A smiling face is an index of pleasing mind. That says that how confident, how cool, and how calm, and how ready Krishna is now to teach. A smile takes you to an extra mile, my friend. A smiling person indeed, a smiling person is indeed a calming friend. A smile is the indication of control over any situation. A smiling person is indeed a calming friend. A smile is the indication of control over any situation. Anywhere, anytime, for anyone, so very well, a smile makes the difference like an angel. When you greet someone with a little smile, their hearts beat with pleasure for a while. The first sign of development in a baby is a smile. We're so fortunate to see these smiles in our babies at our work. First sign of development in a baby is smile. The best thing in any child is innocent smile. The lasting impression of a beautiful person is smile. The worst of the times are forgotten with a smile. The expression in any divine figurine is smile. The divine sign in all who are humane is smile. The insignia of existence, knowledge, and bliss is smile. Joy or sorrow, today and tomorrow, smile, my friend, smile. Language ain't its limit. Language ain't its limit. And there is no need for any permit. It is language spoken by any saint, prophet, or hermit. Smile is a sign language, common to all, and costs nothing at all. The language universal, a smile. Yes, my friend, smile like Lord Krishna. So that Rishikesha, the one who has great, beautiful, flowing hair, I said, but I also said, we also learned that Rishikanam Ishaha, the Lord of Indriyas, the one who has control on himself, can teach us how to control. So now the next 20 are Atma Tattva. So we have 15 minutes or so. And if I can't cover, I'll cover in the next session as well. So from verse 11 onwards, we see Acharya Shankara's commentary. And Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now the real teaching starts. The real teaching starts from verse 11. And from verse 11 onwards, verse 30, the 20 verses. These are Atma Tattva Vimsati. Vimsati means 20. The 20 verses about Atma Tattva. You don't feel like leaving any verse. Please do read again and again. There is no Punarukti dosha if I just remind you these verses again and again through the course of next few chapters. Ashocyananvashocastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase gatasuna gatasumscha nanasochanti panditaha. The Blessed Lord said, O Arjuna, you grieve for those who are not to be grieved for, and you speak words of wisdom like a pandit. The learned do not grieve for the departed and those who have not departed. You are actually grieving for something which is not worthy of grieving. The whole teaching of Bhagavad Gita starts with Ashocya, worry not. It is not worthy of worry. And it ends with the 66th Charama Shloka in 18th chapter, 6th verse. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha, worry not. In the 11th chapter, Mate Vyadha. In the 16th chapter, Ma Shuchaha. And again, in these next few verses, up to 30, so many times Krishna says, Nanu Shochitum Arhasi, Naivam Shochitum Arhasi, Natvam Shochitum Arhasi, Tatraka Paridevana. So why worry? Why worry? Why worry? And so many reasons are given. So next verse, and this is Kedarnath. I was fortunate enough to visit this place, but this statue was installed very recently after our visit and after the calamity. And I was fortunate to visit Kedarnath before the calamity. So Acharya Shankara in Kedarnath. Then, so these 5 verses, Swami Bodhananda says at the crux of these 20 verses, from verse 11, to 16. So I'll just chant those without break, and then we'll go into the details of some of the verses. Sashocyananvashocastvam prajnavadamscha bhashase gatasu nagatasumscha nanusochanti panditaah natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadhipaah nachaiva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jaram tadha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra na muhyati Matra sparsastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaah agamapayino nityaah tansitikshasva bharata yam hinavyadhayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. Now you see, dhira word is used. So dhira is such a powerful word. Dhira is, in Kathopanishad it says, that the world is so created that our senses go after the sense objects involuntarily because Brahmaji created the world like that, the sense of objects. Param chikhane vyatrunat swayambhuh tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. So kakaruram. So we got this. What can we do? What can we do? We have this. But Kaschidhiraha, pratyagatmanamakshat, avrutta chakshuhu, amrutatva michan. So that dhira, with a great vision, seeking this shreyas, he actually goes beyond this and looks at that. And now Lord Krishna is saying, oh Arjuna, realize this soul. This soul is imperishable. This imperishable. And this deha is dakhyate iti deha, the one which is burnt, it is deha. Sarira siryate, the one which gets destroyed over a period of time, dilapidated, ages is sharira. But there is someone inside this deha, that is dehi. There is someone inside this sharira, that's shariri. So Dehinaha asmin dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara. So this deha goes through these stages: boyhood, adulthood, old age. So in the same way, there is a stage in between two dehas, deha antara praptihi. And while living in this world, matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaah. Next verse, 14th. So matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaah agama apayinaha anitya. So the tam titikshasva bharata, tan titikshasva, the contacts of the senses with the objects, O son of Kunti, which cause heat and cold, sheta ushna sukha dukkadaah. So some give the temperature. If it's cold, it gives sheta. If it is hot, it gives heat. And similarly, the pleasant situations give the pleasure. And the difficulties give us dukkha. So the pleasure and pain, they have a beginning and end. Agama, apayana, they come and go like the waves. They are impermanent. Endure them bravely, O descendant of Bharata. O Bharata. Here, Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Bharata. So here the meaning is Bhasirata, the one who wants to revel, the one who revels in the knowledge is Bharata. That's how we get our name for our country, Bharata. So this soul, it is Avinasha, it is Avyaya, it is Akshara, and it is the indestructible. Come what may, come what may. So that is the soul. And while living in this, the sense objects give us the pleasure and pain. They come like waves. Swami Chinmayananda says, the waves, there are small waves, you just jump over them. There are big tides, you duck under them. And Ratanlal Tata says, the life is like an EKG, the ups and downs. There are peaks and valleys. If not, it is a straight line. And if it's a straight line, we know what it is on the monitor. When the patient is on the monitor, you see, as long as it is now nicely going with ups and downs, that's pretty good. So the life is like that. So they are matra sparshas, they are agama apayanas. So tan titikshasva, titiksha, sahanam, sarvadukhanam, chinta vilaparahitam. So that is titiksha, tolerance. And the next one talks about the Atma Tattva so deeply that this Atman is there forever. And what is unreal is this Jagat, because the Jagat jayate gacchati. So it is born and it's going. And our Sharira is born, whereas Atma is najayate, namriyate va kadachit, nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya, ajo nitya sasvatoyam prana, nahanyate hanyamane sarire. So that doesn't take birth and doesn't live forever. So for that, there is no abhava. Nasato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. So that sat, that which is ever present, that consciousness never undergoes any destruction. Whereas, so this asat means, unreal means the one which doesn't stay in the same state forever. So we all, with the medical knowledge, know that the body is not the same forever. It undergoes a shed vikaras, 6 vikaras, 6 modifications. Jayate. So asti, first of all, it is there in the womb. Asti. Then jayate, born. Then vardhate, it grows. Then viparinamate, so many changes. As you can see in adolescence, we start shaving. And then we see the beard kind of getting, so gray. And then we lose hair. And then we lose teeth. So viparinamate. Then apakshiyate, slowly getting destroyed. So apoptosis happens. We lose not only teeth and hair, we lose memory also. And then kshiyate, so nashyate. So the 6 vikaras are not there for this Atma. And you can never say that this Sharira is permanent. So avinasitu tad vidhi yena sarvamidam tatam. Vinasamavyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhati. Know this Atma as avinasi, avyaya, akshara, and anirvachaniya. You say so much about it. You talk so much about it, but still you cannot completely understand. Cannot completely understand this. So Swami Chinmayananda says, when you cannot understand, when you cannot define, and when you cannot delineate what it is, why talk about it? Tapavan Maharaj, so a few days later, he answers in a very, very intellectual way. So says Swami Chinmaya, can you get me some water? So it is in Uttarakasi, where Ganga just flows right in front of this ashram. And Swami Chinmayananda gets a nice container, washes, and then brings the water from Ganga. And then Tapovan Maharaj looks at Chinmaya and says, Chinmaya, I asked you to bring water and you brought a container. So how can you bring the water without a container? Then how can you understand this avyaya, akshara, avyakta without expressing the way we know? The only way we can express is through the words we know. So that's why these are very profound words. This has to be experienced. This has to be contemplated. Swami Ranganathananda says, no one in real Sanatana Dharma, no Rishi, no Yogi, no teacher asks you, have you read this? Have you read that? They actually ask you, when they take you as Shishya, have you experienced this? Have you experienced this? So that is an experience we have to go through contemplation. So then there are some verses which are very profound again. Achedyo hyamada hyohyam akledyo shosya yevacha nitya sarvagata sthanuhu achaloyam sanatanaha nainam chindanti shastrani nainam dahati pavakaha nachainam kledayantyapo nashoshayati marutaha. This is so indestructible, but none of the weapons can destroy. Water cannot wet it. The fire cannot burn it. Because its nature is, it cannot be burned, it cannot be wetted, it cannot be destroyed. So that is this Atma Tattva. And we take up another body if we believe in Punarjanma. Sanatana Dharma is based on three things: Dharma, Karma, and Punarjanma. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinhati naroparaani tatha sarirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Just as a man casts off his worn out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off its worn out body and enters others which are new. So this is how the Atma Tattva is taught to Arjuna at this very, very juncture. And this is a time Arjuna actually now shifts his understanding. Now the war is forgotten for a moment. Now the question of whether I should fight or not, that is not. Now the Moksha Shastra begins. Moksha Shastra begins. So next session, we'll do Dharmastakam, the 8 verses of Dharma. I may not go through each verse, but there are 8 verses talking about Swadharma. There is Swadharma, our Dharma. There is Swabhava, our nature. And then there is Swarupa. So Swadharma, our Dharma, Vritti, our duty, our responsibility. The next one is our Swabhava, the body, mind, and intellect complex and vasanas we came with. And our Swarupa, our Atma Tattva. So we came through Swarupa. We'll talk about Swabhava and then we'll talk about Swadharma. Thank you so much. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Om, Om, Om. We'll conclude with Gita Mahatmya and then we will stay for questions and answers for 15-20 minutes.
Recite the Gita Mahatmya. Gita Mahatmya. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yah Patet Prayatah Puman Vishno Padamavapnoti Bhayashokadi Varjitaha Gita Dhyayanashilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Samtihi Papani Purva Janmakritani Cha Mala Nirmochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrudgitamrita Snanam Samsara Malanashanam Gita Sugita Kattavya Timanyai Shastra Vistaraihi Yaswayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmad Vinishrita Bharatamrita Sarvasvam Vishnor Vatrad Vinisritam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punarjanmana Vidyate Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantrastasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyairva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhava Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeति Samarpayami Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ